When I was 13 years old, I saved up my money to buy an Xbox One and one game, Forza Horizon 2. I'll never forget starting the game up and tearing through those streets in that iconic yellow Huracan. 11 years later, it's safe to say that I'm not the same person, and the Huracan is not the same car. I'm Ari from Boost Life, and today we're reviewing the Lamborghini Huracán Evo. The Huracan was first introduced in 2014 as a replacement for the Gallardo, the Murcielago's little brother. With it came modern tech, a dual clutch gearbox, and when they first came out, they were all-wheel drive. But then, someone at Lamborghini remembered that they once named the car after a bull that gored a matador to death, and said, we can make it rear-wheel drive. In 2020, the Huracan got a glow up. Enter the Huracan Evo. The engine comes from the top-of-the-line Huracan, the Performante. Pairing that with rear-wheel drive is a recipe for chaos. Starting off with the front of the Huracan Evo, it does share a very similar silhouette to the older Huracan. However, some changes have been made to make the car look more aggressive and be more aerodynamic. For example, the lip in the front comes out a little bit more. You have this aeropod right here, kind of a Y shape. You can see the radiators. Looks absolutely insane. I do love the Y-shaped headlights. When you have the turn signals on, they look super, super cool. It goes from the regular headlights into the orange turn signal. Moving on to the side of the Huracan. This car is on Novitec springs and has these custom Z Performance wheels, and you cannot miss these fat green carbon ceramics. I know that these cost a lot to replace. If you know me personally, I love Porsches, and one of my favorite part about 911s is the Porsche hips. However, Lamborghini has made their hips on a lot of their cars look very angular, and I think that it really falls in line with their aesthetic, and they do a great job with it. Moving on to the back of the Huracan Evo, you have this bigger spoiler to match the bigger lip up front. You have this diffuser down low, and you cannot miss the Performante inspired exhaust tips back here. These exhaust tips look like freaking cannons, and is my favorite part of the rear of the Evo. Hopping into the interior of the Huracan Evo, there's a lot to say. First of all, there are hexagons everywhere. The steering wheel horn has not one but two hexagons, and the sport mode selector also has a hexagon on it. The seat has a hexagon to adjust the seat. The mirrors have a hexagon, and the door handles are a hexagon, and the door handle surround is also a hexagon. The AC vents are, surprise, surprise, a hexagon, and the infotainment screen is all hexagons. Even the radio tower is a bunch of hexagons. The start button has a hexagon, and surprise, surprise, it's a hexagon. On the passenger dash, you also have, surprise, a bunch of hexagons. Hexagons here, you have hexagons here, and below it as well. Hexagons here, hexagon here. These are also hexagons, and so are these little things here. There's one on the gas cap. The door handles are hexagons, and the actual handle itself is a hexagon, and there's one on the door handle. The mirror is a hexagon. This plastic piece in the bumper is a hexagon. In the headlights, you also have hexagons. Two hexagons. On the seat behind my head is a hexagon. Lamborghini just loves hexagons. When you buy an Italian supercar, I know what your first thought is. It needs to have cup holders. Well, the Huracan has one. It's right here, and excuse my French, but it's not fitting shit. Everything here is very pilot or driver focused. The steering wheel only has the windshield and the turn signal controls. If you want to adjust the volume on the radio, you have to go into the infotainment. It's kind of annoying, but I understand the point. On the steering wheel as well, you also have lap timer tools. I have not figured it out yet because it's all in Italian. You also have your adjustments here. You have Strada, which is street in Italian. You have Sport, which turns everything orange. And then you have Corsa, which is race in Italian. And everything that's super aggressive. You can actually hear the exhaust get a little bit louder when I switch into Sport and Corsa. You have these buttons on the panel right here. I think it looks super cool, like a fighter jet. One of the most important and popular things about Lamborghinis are the start buttons. You open the switch and press the button, the car on. It's falling in line with that fighter jet aesthetic, and I'm really happy that I had to get in the car today and do that. The seats in the Huracán Evo are a bit snug. I'm 5'10", 190 pounds. My butt's comfortable, but my back is definitely going to be hurting tomorrow. The car does drive very good at low speeds. Highway speeds is fine. It is comfortable in here. It's very user-friendly. I have no real complaints besides that. Getting into the performance of the Huracán Evo, you have a... Ari, back here. When the Huracán was first released, the naturally aspirated V10 was already endangered. And now with Audi killing off the R8 and Lamborghini killing off this car, the naturally aspirated V10 is now extinct. This 5.2 liter makes 602 horsepower and 413 pound-feet of torque. Paired with a 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, it moves. This car will allegedly do 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. If you're brave enough to try.
Ready when you are.
All right, you guys ready? All right. In order to launch the Huracán Evo, the first thing you'll do is put the car in drive, put it into Corsa mode, turn traction control off, jam on the brakes as hard as you can, floor it, and launch.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Stop! Oh my God! No, dude!
The first thing I noticed when I got in the car is like there's this weird creaking noise. There it is. I think it's because the owner put aftermarket springs in the car. Italian cars can be very temperamental. However, once you're at higher speeds, the noise kind of goes away. Like we're cruising the highway, you don't have that noise anymore. And plus, you have this noise to drown it out anyways. It is fast. I mean, this is Lamborghini. Like, there's no way around it. There's no frills, just... And it just climbs. It is absurdly fast. Being in this car and driving it is just amazing. I mean, it really is something special. And even though this one's rear-wheel drive, you still have plenty of grip to work with. I mean, a lot of grip to work with. My God. But you have to know what you're doing, because if you mess up, the car will respond. Like, for example, in that last corner, I let off the gas and hit the brakes a little bit in a corner just to get and the rear end wanted to get out a little bit. I just wanted to see what the car was going to do. If you mess up, if you don't know what you're doing with your hands and your feet, you're going to die. Like, I don't know to tell you any other way. Like, it's rear-wheel drive, it's temperamental. This car is not meant to be like a smooth track tool like a GT3. It's meant to be aggressive, meant to just be chaos and just brash and in your face, and I love it. I love the way this V10 sounds. This car is just, you blink and you're doing 100 miles an hour. It's just so fast. With the power you have, having it be rear-wheel drive, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know where you want the car to be, where you want the car to go. And you know, if for the uninitiated, like if you're just somebody who wants to drive a Huracan rear-wheel drive, you know, rent it in Miami for a weekend, and you try to do something stupid, you're going to crash. You know, there's a really viral video of these guys renting a green Huracan and like playing around, and they just smack it into a wall. You know what I'm talking about? I will say that we are on some perfect back roads right now, and the car does handle it very, very well. The road's kind of bad, it's super bumpy, but the suspension handles it well. Again, this is on springs, and you know, I'm not expecting like a Rolls Royce or like plush kind of ride in this thing. I'm getting thrown around here and there, but I'm not totally uncomfortable. You know, like I drove the Nismo Z or Z Nismo last week. Again, and I was getting thrown around in that too, and I would say this is just a little bit more, except for I have a beautiful V10 behind me, and I'm not complaining about the automatic because this dual clutch is fast. The Huracán Evo starting is like $270, and nobody buys a base, so this is probably a $300,000 car, give or take. I mean, still, you do get a lot of car here. I mean, this is my first step up in a car like this. Like, I've driven 911s and stuff like that, but this is such a new world to me, and it's really opened my eyes on what cars can be and how fast they can be too. I'm a GT3 guy. I drove a 992 GT3 in Atlanta, and where that is like a track tool, this is just brash and bold, and it's just chaotic, and I love everything about it. It's just really the noise, it's just so violent, and it's a freaking iguana in the road. What in the South Florida? There was a fat iguana in the road. I love that someone in the Lamborghini was like, oh yeah, rear-wheel drive variant, and they add the Performante engine and with the rear-wheel drive, and it's just such a crazy experience in here. My favorite thing of the car is the V10. I've always loved the V10 noise since I was young. I have a friend with the M5 with the V10, and I love every time we get in this car and it goes for a rip. It's fantastic. I mean, that thing moves, and this weighs probably half of that, and it makes a little bit more power, and this thing just rips. And just the noise in here. The downshifts are beautiful, and then when you just it's like, oh my God. That's a big bump. This is not a car. This is a flamethrower disguised as a car. It yells and screams with every upshift and downshift. Every time you hit the gas pedal, it puts a smile on my face. That noise never gets old. We probably did like 6 tunnel passes just, whoa! This is an amazing car. And it's unfortunate that cars like this are on their way out. Every time we finish a video, we always talk about how the modern car in the street kind of sucks. How it's moving in the direction to appease to people who view cars more as an appliance than to enjoy them or use them as a toy. This car here is more than a toy. It's a weapon of mass velocity. It's loud, it's brash, it'll do 200 miles an hour and look and sound good doing it. It's one of the craziest cars I've ever driven. The modern car on the street is more focused on chasing crazy power numbers and fancy tech than it is on offering a good and fun driving experience. So it's best that we enjoy these visceral experiences where we can, or where we can afford them. Otherwise, you're better off driving those cars in a video game. A massive thank you to my friend Hayden Wooster at Wooster Law for letting us borrow his Lamborghini Huracán today. Definitely made some childhood dreams come true. If you are in need of a personal injury attorney in South Florida, don't hesitate to call Wooster Law. And a huge thank you to you guys for watching. As always, I'm Art from Boost Life, and we'll see you in the next one.